Hello, my name is Emma. I'm the owner and writer of The Hidden North, which is an online travel guide and resource for Northern Europe, focusing on Norwegian road trips, which is why I have this YouTube video. I am now showing you the series around the Oslofjord. This is video number two, where we go from Kragerø to Tønsberg, following the back roads, the hidden highways. In this video, we will drive through the towns of Larvik and Sandefjord, and we'll also stop at the very first marketplace of Norway. We will also visit some Bronze Age sites, and we'll finish by the Viking Museum in Tønsberg. So this is video number 2 on day number 2 of the Oslofjord, from Kragerø to Tønsberg via Larvik and Sandefjord. We are now driving through Bumble, which is a coastal municipality with an archipelago that is popular for Norwegians in the summer. Agriculture, forestry and fishing are the traditional industries here. In the village, Bumble Town Hall is probably one of the most beautiful town halls in Norway, and Bumble Church has been the inspiration for many other Norwegian churches.
Porsgrunn municipality was first mentioned in historic documents in 1576, but has been a place long before then. The area became an important harbour town in the late 16th century, and Porsgrunn was home to some of Norway's most influential families. For a while, Porsgrunn was considered to be the cultural centre of Norway. It is famous for its porcelain factory, the Porsgrunn Fabric, which you can visit in town. We have now arrived in Larvik municipality, which has a population of around 48,000 people and is known as a popular summer spot for Norwegians. Remains from the Stone Age have been found here, and during the Roman Iron Age, ancient peoples erected a stone monument resembling a ship at Istrehågan, and today this is regarded as one of Norway's greatest remains from prehistoric times. Larvik was a Danish county until 1817. The rest of Norway had come under Swedish rule, and 4 local businessmen bought the county in 1817, making it part of Norway. We will now drive through the centre of Larvik. Remains from the Stone Age have been discovered here, and during the Roman Iron Age, the people in the area erected a stone monument resembling a ship at Istrehågan, which is today regarded as one of Norway's greatest remains from prehistoric times. The Larvik that we see today was established in 1671 as a market town when a man called Ulrik Fredrik Gyldenløve, the Governor-General of Norway, bought an estate here. The town's major industries then were timber, boat building, and shipping. The whole Larvik area was owned by a Danish court until 1817. Norway had come under Sweden in 1814, but for some reason, Larvik remained part of Denmark. In 1817, some local businessmen bought Larvik off the Danes, and then it became part of Norway. The big yellow building that we passed on the left is the corporate offices for Ringnes Faris. Faris is a sparkling water that comes from Larvik.
till we finally found.
Standing in your presence now, torn apart and broken down. Even still we think we got it all figured out. Come and set our hearts on fire, wake us up with your desire. You're the one we're fighting for, our only hope, our only hope.
In a world of heartbreak, in a world of tears, there's a hope before us that's covering all our fears. Standing in your presence now, torn apart and broken down.
I'm visiting Kaupang, which is an important Viking Age site. Basically, during the Viking Age, there was a settlement here. The ancient remains of the town have been uncovered by archaeologists, and it's believed that it was an important trade centre. It is actually regarded as the oldest known merchant town in Norway. The site has remains from the oldest town discovered in the Nordic countries and is therefore one of Scandinavia's earliest urban areas.
in a world of trials, in a world of fears, in a world of heartbreak, in a world
So I really wanted to visit Istrehågan, but unfortunately it's not really accessible in the off-season unless I was to spend an extra hour walking. It is basically an ancient burial ground which dates back to the Roman Iron Age around 1500 to 500 BC. The large stone settings resemble a ship, and it has been named one of the most magnificent stone settings in the Nordic countries, and it resembles similar stone settlements in the British Isles. That is a tongue twister. The rock art in the forest has been described as some of the most picturesque rock carvings in the county. So I will hopefully come back maybe when it's summer so I can drive right up to it. We have now entered the municipality of Sandefjord, which is known for its rich Viking history, and it's where one of the Viking ships at the museum in Oslo were found. Sandefjord also developed as an important whaling centre and now has Europe's only museum dedicated to whaling. Today, Sandefjord is a popular summer destination for Norwegians, and there are ferries linking the municipality to Germany and Denmark. We are now arriving in Sandefjord, which is a coastal community known for its beaches and close proximity to some nice hikes. It's even nicknamed the Summer City of Norway. Sandefjord has a rich Viking history, but is also known for its prosperous whaling industry that made Sandefjord the richest city in Norway at one point. The Vikings lived at Sandefjord, and many Viking artifacts have been found. One of the most important remains from the Viking Age is the gravesite Gokstad, which is where a ship was found that is now on display at the Viking Ship Museum in Oslo. The Vikings settled in Sandefjord because of the close proximity to other places along the coast. And yes, a replica of the ship, the Gokstad ship, actually went from Bergen across to Chicago in 1893. Sandefjord functioned as a seaport throughout the 17th and 18th centuries, and was formally recognized as a market town by the king in 1845. Throughout the 19th century, Sandefjord became known as a health resort destination, with royalty and important people throughout Europe coming to visit the spas in the 19th century. Sandefjord is best known as a whaling community, as the center of the world's modern whaling industry was located here. Locals from Sandefjord not only made up most of the crews on the Norwegian whaling fleet, but a lot of them also worked in the whaling industry in nearby countries. One man from Sandefjord, Hans Albert Gren, established the first whaling station in the Faroe Islands. For over 50 years, Sandefjord was the center of whaling. Besides leading the fleet, they also manufactured equipment and vessels. At its peak, there were 25 whaling companies in Sandefjord. At the beginning of the 20th century, expeditions from Sandefjord went as far as the Norwegian Bay in Australia, Stewart Island in New Zealand, Walvis Bay in Namibia, Chile, and isolated places such as South Georgia Island and Bouvet Island. During World War II, Sandefjord was occupied by Nazis, with the Nazis taking over the spa and putting a flag on it. All students in Sandefjord were given a book to learn the German language, as well as a copy of Mein Kampf. 2 fortresses were constructed in Sandefjord, and many locals were killed during the war. Tønsberg municipality is a very historically important municipality. Tønsberg is actually considered to be the oldest city in Norway. According to the Norse sagas, it was founded in the year 871, and the Oseberg ship, which is one of the most spectacular finds in Norway, came from Tønsberg. Tønsberg is also important for whaling, shipping, and operations at sea. Most of the traditional shipyards have been closed down. The Tønsberg Ropeworks is the oldest existing company in Tønsberg, dating back to 1796. Tønsberg was founded by King Harald Fairhair in the 9th century and served as an ancient capital of Norway. According to Snorre Sturluson, who wrote the Viking sagas, Tønsberg was founded before the Battle of Hafrsfjord, which, according to Snorre, was in 871. This makes Tønsberg one of the oldest still existing Scandinavian cities. It also makes it different to Kaupang, which is where we went just out of Larvik, because Kaupang no longer exists, whereas Tønsberg is still standing. Now, the king lived at the old royal court, where Jarlsberg Manor is located today, and Hauga became the seat for the Haugating, which was Norway's second most important place for the proclamation of kings. The site had 2 Viking-era mounds. The town's importance declined as other cities like Oslo, Bergen and Trondheim rose to prominence, and under the Danish Union from 1397 onwards, there was not as much need for a royal court. After a large fire in 1536, almost all the town was destroyed. Because of this, not much remains of the medieval town. Tønsberg transformed into an important harbour town. King James VI of Scotland stopped here on his way to meet Anne of Denmark in Oslo to get married. The centre of the world's modern whaling industry was in Tønsberg and Sandefjord. During the 19th century, Tønsberg turned into a base of operation and source of expertise for whalers. Tønsberg has been called the cradle of modern whaling, and one of the city's most prominent residents, Sven Foyn, was a pioneer in whaling and established many places in northern Norway for whaling. We can now start to see Slottsfjellet, which is the castle, and it's also the old historic fortress that they know was in use for the Vikings. We will end at the Viking Museum. We are ending today's video at the Slottsfjellet Museum, which is where you can see finds from the Viking Age. Be sure to watch the next video where I drive from Tønsberg to Oslo, following the coastline of the Oslofjord. I also pass through towns like Åsgårdstrand, Børre and Holmestrand. Thank you so much for watching.